All right, so I missed kind of a gem, so we're just going to kind of drop straight into things. I got Steve with me, and we're probably going to have. Damn it! No, we're waiting on Steve. I've got Craig right now. I'm looking at a blank screen for Steve, so we're hoping that he'll show up. Anyway, I got a
Right
little
now,
distracted by
we're at a
feeding
one-legged.
electric eels. So
You're the one-legged man in the ass-kicking contest, sir.
I know it's not doing me well. It's not doing me well, but I am doing better than basically anyone in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I was actually gonna point out. I just saw recently two things. I think I even retweeted them. That really pissed me off. Um, it kind of big if true, but like I don't believe it necessarily. At the same time, though, I fucking do believe it. Like it's just like it's just one of those things. Like probably, maybe, I don't know, possibly. Still, the fact that that's like even believable is pissing me off. There's this one here. Let's chuck that into the chat, the staff chat.
70,000 allies have been
Someone says
evacuated.
they saw it on Facebook.
I've been hearing some things about this.
That the Taliban who are that's the other thing that pissed me off is, and I'll just throw the image in there anyway, but
Yeah,
it's from
apparently,
shorter to say.
I've heard these
Spock's
same rumors.
the Pentagon Spock's the speaker for the Pentagon said that, and that just casually admitted that the Taliban are now responsible for initial vetting of travelers so they can get to the airport. Now this, I think last time we
Our great
touched on it.
ally, the Taliban, mind you,
Yeah, I
our
think we
dear and
touched on it
trusted friend.
very briefly we touched on it that the Taliban have their own checkpoints outside of the U.S. checkpoints for the entrances. It's like there's multiple layers of security there, and they are forming the outermost, and it's largely to capture the people that they want to keep in the country to beat the shit out of and kill. Um, by the way, I just also make something else clear when we talk about the Taliban, Al Qaeda, and ISIS, well, or I guess ISIS K,
Whatever
as
the
if
fuck that
it's
is.
they're calling it ISIS K, but it's fucking ISIS. These three factions hate each other. But they just hate each other. These are three of the several factions in Afghanistan that made the nation building just a complete fucking disaster. Um, Two of which were distinct enemies of America prior to us going in, and then the third one, the Taliban, the moment we went in, because they saw us as an invasion, and it was an invasion. So, of all three of them, the ones that actually had the legitimate reason to be pissed off with the U.S. was the Taliban. But then they decided to start fighting us and kill our own troops, so fuck them. This is after we repeatedly reached out to make peace before we got into the firefights. So again, fuck them. But the fact that Al Qaeda and ISIS, the leader of like this, the second in command or the first in command of Al Qaeda today, was in Kabul shortly after they said that there is no chance of them showing up in the country.
Now, was this
Like
the
the next
one that
fucking
we were
day.
told that was dead recently, or was that another one? Because that just came out recently too, like one of the
I think it
leaders
was
of Al
another
Qaeda.
one. It was another guy, not the guy who was said to be dead.
But just as a by the by, if anyone was unaware, one of the prior leaders of Al Qaeda is actually not dead. They've just been hiding out, and now that everything's falling to shit, almost to
Yeah,
plan, it's come out that he's just been hiding.
and then we have ISIS on the way in. So the fucked up part is not only are Al Qaeda and ISIS back in the country, they're back in the country and they're not being like fought by the Taliban right now. It's just that the Taliban is warning the U.S. government that ISIS might try to attack the airport, and that Al Qaeda is still there. So Taliban, who harbored Al Qaeda before, which is one of the reasons we were pissed with them, allowing Bin Laden to get to Pakistan. That was bad. And then you have ISIS, which both of those factions hate. Like they'd all love to see each other die, but the fact that they're all getting along just fine right now is largely because we showed our asses and then got kicked.
Oh, yeah, to say the least. Yeah,
It's fucked up.
yeah, it's an absolute shit show. So when I say
And
the name,
and this thing, very good.
I was going to say, when I say the name Lloyd Austin, does that mean anything to you?
No.
It should. Lloyd Austin is the architect of all of this. Lloyd Austin is the head. Well, he's a SecDef. And no one is saying his name. He's the one who gave the go-ahead on every single decision made in this regard. He has no experience in this.
Okay, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
It just took me a second to think.
Well, that's the thing.
Yeah,
Nobody's talking about him, and everyone should be.
Well, no, so what happened was people were talking to him, and then Millie decided to talk.
And Millie's basically nobody. Millie is just basically their PR guy and their the hype man for.
Millie's the one talking about white rage.
Yeah,
and,
he's
making
the,
sure that everybody reads Ibram Kendi. It's fucking retarded.
Yeah, he's
the guy does not deserve to be in office. And I say office. The guy doesn't deserve to have a star on his shoulder. He does not deserve to be a general.
No, not at all. Not at all. He's the.
Especially because isn't this the same motherfucker who was supposed to be in charge of some of the training that was going on in Afghanistan this whole fucking time? What the fuck happened in Afghanistan over 20 years? We neutralized Al-Qaeda. We neutralized the Taliban. We got rid of ISIS. All that shit was accomplished. What the fuck happened? Like, we only had 2,500 support personnel in there for the military people. These were not combat people. These, like, most of them were just technical specialties and just basically service functionaries.
Oh, what, our people?
Oh, yeah, our people.
Oh, yeah,
our 2,500 troops that were there. They weren't not. It wasn't a big combat mission.
Yeah, we didn't really have fighters there. We had
some special forces.
We had like crew there.
There was like some MPs, some special forces. Like there wasn't a whole.
And mostly support personnel.
You could probably count the combat teams on your hand. Like there wasn't, maybe two hands. Like there wasn't like thousands of combat troops there.
No, basically we were the support system for their Air Force, by and large, which hadn't been transitioned over entirely to them doing their own support. And they do war in a fashion similar to Americans because that's the way they've been trained over the last 20 years. So, what do you do, right?
Apparently you fuck them over.
Absolutely you do, at least if your name is Lloyd Austin. Now, a lot of people want to throw this on Joe, and Joe has a lot of blame to be thrown on him.
He's the commander-in-chief, so his go-ahead is all that needs to be given there.
Yeah. Now, if he was anything more than a skin suit full of maggots, we could actually play something into that. If it was Kamala that was doing this, we could put something to it. But
well, didn't you hear? She was the one who was the most influential on the decision to pull out.
She would know a lot about pulling out.
Remember, she was the last one in the room. She's the one that had the deciding word. She was all for it until it fucking failed, and then she didn't want to say shit.
So, basically, the one good fucking thing that they were even trying to do, they've managed to fuck up to such an astounding degree that it is literally breathtaking.
Isn't it amazing? It's the same thing. Look back at what she was saying last year. She's basically the reason for all the hesitance for vaccines in the black community right now.
Oh, absolutely.
Which has the lowest.
She was like, "I'm not
rate.
taking no Trump vax. I don't trust a vaccine that Donald Trump helped build.
Yeah,
no, sir, no Trump vax for me. Not for Kamala. No."
She had to shut her fucking trap after the election got over because then all of a sudden, oh, they're not getting vaccinated. Well, why the fuck not? Oh, I gotta wonder. Gotta have a clue, huh? Then now with this one, she was the deciding word on whether or not to pull out of Afghanistan. And now she doesn't want to say shit. She went over to the fucking Vietnam, which is hilarious, because I guess she needed to visit Saigon to get a better look at whether or not the memes were true.
Well, she was wanting to go and visit the historic site where Jane Fonda visited Saigon.
Great.
Maybe even try to recreate the photo. You know how she likes to get those photo ops.
Yeah.
That whole thing. Oh, speaking of which, it's not exactly related, but very similar. Secretary of State Blinken, he said this one 3 days ago, actually. He was right just days before the fall, he said he was on the phone with President Karzai of Afghanistan. Hamid
Sure.
Karzai. Now, that probably sounds a little weird to you because, you follow anything current. And probably sounds a little weird to, basically anybody that is following anything current because Hamid Karzai has been out since, 6 or 7 years now, right?
Kind of funny, huh?
Yeah, so that means
Funny
that
that.
our Secretary of State was utterly unaware of who the current president of Afghanistan is. Which, by the way,
I'm
it's
not
said that he
surprised
had
about that.
about $169 million in that helicopter that he flew out of Afghanistan with. Not to mention, there were like literal barrels
Which
of
one?
cash.
Arzai or the other one?
Oh no, the current one.
Well, the one who thought he was in office until he wasn't.
Well, yeah, until everything fell, as as you will,
Oh,
and I
I thought he did a caravan out of there. Maybe he did a caravan to an airport. Doesn't really matter. He's gone. He skipped town with all his extra cash on hand.
oh hey,
You
they've
know, it would have been way easier for him had he just put it all in Bitcoin.
oh
Just
wow,
saying.
it looks
Could have just
like
left with that phone.
Wikipedia has already updated. How
Oh
about
yeah.
that? They've got an incumbent, Saleh Amrullah. He's been acting since the 17th of August. Huh. That's interesting. That's oh, Ashraf Ghani, by the way, was the one that ran with
Yeah.
all that money. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's well, things are really interesting in Afghanistan right now.
Things are
So,
totally in control in
yeah,
Afghanistan, and
yeah.
Biden
Well,
is the best president ever.
yeah, he got
Holy
definitely
shit.
didn't get 59 million votes. No, sir. No, sir. He certainly got
Hey, he is an
81 million.
81 million man. He
Yes,
is a machine.
there's definitely machines involved in that. Absolutely there are. I couldn't agree more. So, we've got all this basically engineered by Lloyd Austin, given the go ahead by Joe and his handlers.
Sure, he didn't know what the fuck he was signing.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would be surprised if he can actually sign anything. I mean, legitimately.
Well, look, when they say make your mark, they don't necessarily require a signature. They just require you to like bang your forehead on the table.
Well, I mean, let's
As long
be
as there's
honest.
ink
A lot of
involved.
these things do go into records, so they've probably got him like one of those nice stamps where they've carved out his signature on it so that it looks like he tried. Because, I mean, you really want scribbles and doodles of little girls on national documents? Speaking of which, I was asking a question to my Twitter feed earlier. Maybe somebody who'll be listening will know. How long has Joe been grooming Jen Psaki? I mean, there's the one picture of him
Oh my
getting
god.
incredibly familiar with her chest area when she was
I
a
don't have that photo on hand, but
young
there's one
girl.
that I found a photo, and the caption originally, I believe, was "Now we know how Jen got her job."
Indeed, indeed. I mean, it's a very
Yeah.
valid question. How long has this poor girl been groomed by these elites, shall we call them? But I do want everyone to focus in on Lloyd Austin. Nothing is coming out on him, and if anybody has anything, please, please let us know. Uh, I want to get more info on this guy because it seems like, and this is just my feeling, but this is my feeling based on watching this shit go down for like the past 14 years that I've been paying very close attention. So it feels to me like we're dealing with something pointed, specific, and intentional. And if you wanted to utterly destroy the American military, man, I can't think of a lot better ways than basically exactly all we're doing. And
Well, I'll
that,
say this: you should. I know it cuts against the ethos here, but you should never ascribe to malice what can easily be explained by incompetence.
That's fair. That's fair. And that is
And
a
this
more
guy is
just way
encountering.
of living your life in the world. But unfortunately, we have found ourselves in a very unjust world. So I feel that a less just form of approaching the world is more called for at this time.
Well, people will try to grasp for structure where there is none, and I think this is one of those instances where it's just a bunch of idiots that got together that can't put their own fucking pants on in the morning.
Right, but the thing is, they do end up with pants on, and somebody's putting those pants on them.
Yeah, the
So,
person they pay to.
okay, well, that's fine, but why have we got another mention of Build Back Better? Klaus Schwab's pet project of, removing all property from all peoples that aren't wealthy. I mean, we've fallen back into that. So it would seem that the people pulling up their pants are maybe not exactly the ones that they're paying. Maybe it's the ones that are paying them. As after all, at the end of the day, they do have to look at least presentable when they're going out and presenting the message of their
Hmm.
betters, don't they?
Let's see.
Well, anywho, yeah,
Yeah.
Blinken, he was on the and this was just as of the 22nd, by the way. This is 3 days ago that this bullshit
Hmm.
happened. So that really goes to show the
Three
level of
days, you say?
care and concern that's going into leadership at this exact moment. Ah, comedy gold. Yeah, we're going to be hearing from Greta forever
Oh, you
because
think that's comedy gold?
the sky
Check
is
out this
not
rock
ever really
topper.
going to become fire. Oh, that's a good one. That's such a good flag. That
It's really not.
that's the most peaceful windmill I have ever seen. I am not going to be able to share it with anyone, but just
Nope.
just to say it
It's very
represents all
inclusive.
peoples, and yeah, it really it's
Except for one
probably the
group.
most inclusive thing I've ever seen in all my days. Boy, if we were
I
live.
I am not feeling represented on that flag, I have to say. I am not feeling properly represented at all.
Well, we could put a star on there for you.
I was gonna say that needs to be a star on there.
Ah,
Oh my god, that's so fucked up.
ah, good times, good times. So,
You know what flag you can show though? You can show the reducto from that. You can show this one
mm,
because apparently that is now the new PC. So, well, I mean, it doesn't have the whatever the hell the asexual bullshit was supposed to be that goes in the white space in the middle there, but whatever.
I thought that's what the pink and the blue is supposed to be. Who fucking knows? Oh my
No,
god, these people are fucking sociopaths and they're insane.
yeah,
Like both,
like
mind.
there's
So
it's
insane sociopaths, which makes for complicated interactions.
I'm sure.
Oh yeah, did you hear about Pelosi and her Democratic luncheon? That
Without masks?
indeed. Well, no, that's not true.
Ah,
That's not true.
okay,
All the
okay.
staff had masks.
Ah,
All the servers, mind you.
that makes sense. Yes,
Well, I mean,
okay.
you don't want to look at the face of. I notice as I'm looking at the video here, which I'll throw that in here for you. It's just a little super spreader event from old Nancy Pelosi.
I'm sure there's gonna be no more than the hundreds of people that got infected at Martha's Vineyard.
Let me copy that, and I'll just drop it in the chat for you
Wasn't
there.
that funny how Martha's Vineyard suddenly had a hospital crisis after Obama had a birthday party, but nobody wants to talk about that shit.
Yeah, what was it? Like a 70% increase in cases?
Well, so the first week they had 74 cases. I think the next week they had like 76 cases, and
Oh,
it's still going up. And that was from the initial spike at the party, plus the spread out dissemination of virus onto the island, ramping up into exponential phase, which
yeah.
quickly blew out their hospital. Now they're trying to get people off the island. But the whole party went off without a hitch, and it was fantastic that Obama got to sit there at his map. endangering the entire island with 700 people. Sorry, less than 700 people, but probably still 700 people.
Well, it'll definitely be less than 700 people after all this is said and done, as they do.
Well, it also depends on what you define as people. And according to Obama, that doesn't include all of humanity.
No, no, it certainly doesn't include Chicago hot dogs either.
Okay, remember when Pelosi, blah, 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 arrested without wearing masks. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
good
she had
old
asked
Nick
that
Monroe.
anyone online, anyone that comes
Sorry,
into
not
the
Nick Monroe. That is not Nick Monroe.
Oh,
That is
no,
Nick
no, no,
Monroe,
no,
but
no,
that is
no.
not
I
Nick Monroe.
posted a link from his Minds account. So yeah, of course.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
should follow him on there. Nick Mon 1983.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Chuck him a few
I'll
bucks if you
post
can.
a link to somebody that I have on
For us.
Twitter here that reposts a lot of
Oh my
his
god.
same links. Good guy. Good guy. I don't know. I
Very
don't know if
good.
it's a guy. It's a person that LARPs as a crab. So who knows? Might be a guy. Might be a gal. Who could say?
Very fond of ear rape.
So
Let's see.
there's a.
Oh yeah, so you saw this is from too far in the past now, I think maybe, but there's on NBC Nightly News there's a screen with potential terror threats. Uh,
Oh yeah, yeah,
National
yeah. We
terrorism
never
alert
actually
ahead of
got around to
9/11.
talking about that, but yeah, it had like.
There are three things on it that I think are interesting here. It's opposition to COVID measures. Got to top the story with that big important one, but then claims of election fraud or belief Trump can be reinstated, which I think is a valid point if there are those out there who still think the Kraken had any potency left to it. We can all get behind Herr Biden, and then there's the 9/11 anniversary and religious holidays. Because hey, now we've let all the terrorists into the country. Something might happen on the 20th anniversary of that horrible event. That would be fun. Something funny, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we are bringing in a
Kind of
lot of
poetic,
folks,
wouldn't it?
and as we discussed at the onset of the show, with the Taliban being one of the chief, vetting resources, we can maybe not really count on a whole lot from there. So on
It
that
is
exact
interesting. We
note,
didn't see if there's any Saudis coming across, did we?
well,
Because
as a matter of fact, on that very specific note,
yeah.
we did not get to talk about this, and it's from
Hmm.
just recently. There's about a
The
crate full
SIVs.
of blank visas that were just being handed out about Kabul
Yeah,
to anybody. So
yeah.
there's a lot of visas that have since been filled out, and we have no idea who the fuck has them. And they're not going to be legit when they get followed up on, if such a thing ever occurs. But they are legit pieces of paper, and this is like taking the preprint paper that you do our bills on, that's got the holograms and everything already in there, and just printing the dollar amount on it. So it's gonna be a real bad situation. Well, no, it's entirely possible that these people just want a better life, and none of them have any ill will or malice.
Yeah.
Feel free to X to doubt on that one to your heart's content. I will
Yeah.
personally do so as well, because that's where we are. I mean, instead of having
Fucking ridiculous.
any kind of
Here's the
strongman.
thing. And this kind of ties in neatly here. So the Supreme Court basically gave the big finger to Biden admin recently
Indeed, they
with
did.
regard to the stay in Mexico ruling, or policy rather. The thing is, though, it's going to accidentally improve matters at the border for Biden, incidentally, and then he's going to be able to claim that as a win, even though his arm's being twisted to make him do it. But it's not going to be as big of a win for sanity as you might think, considering that coyotes don't give a rat's ass what policy is. People are going to cross the river anyway.
Well, yeah, because the situation's changed. Where before it would have been, you get to the other side, you're going to have to deal with issues. Now
You
you
might
get to
have
the
a
other side,
trial
you're
or
going to get a
something.
free
You might get a
fucking
piece of
ride.
paper. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm guessing a bunch of coyotes at this point are going to be happy to just take the piece of paper and stay in the U.S. too, which will be great because they're all fucking wonderful people. They're only responsible for the 80% chance that women and children get of getting raped on the way to the border. And if you didn't know that little fact, sorry, raped or assaulted, I should say, sexually assaulted or raped. But 80% of the people coming up from Central America through Mexico with the coyotes, 80% of the women and children will be sexually assaulted or raped. Um, and unfortunately, the or raped part isn't really statistical buggery. It's a significant fraction of that percentage of people that
It
will get raped.
it's kind of a thing you just expect, basically.
It's the coyotes basically get a child bride for the journey every time it happens. So that's disgusting and horrific. And then we got the child sniffer in chief who's letting them all hop the border with their cargo and then head right back down to get some more. So encouraging people to come up that way instead of going to an embassy the way they're supposed to has been one of the things I think is the most horrific of all of this. Because it's not like these people need to necessarily stay down in Nicaragua or Guatemala, what have you. I mean, they could go to the nearest U.S. embassy and apply for asylum if they think that they were worthy of asylum. And then being close to where they actually applied, they could actually be vetted. And then if it is found that, oh, yes, indeed, you need asylum right now, they will be taken from the embassy to the United States with their asylum visa in hand, go through go through the customs and find themselves legally in the country. But why
And
do that when you can have them show up and then use it as a court defense, losing almost all other avenues to citizenship or to getting a visa? Because if you're found guilty, then you are kicked out of the country with prejudice, meaning that if you come back within 5 years, you're automatically denied a visa and automatically denied any hearing for appeal to get a pathway to citizenship. And depending on what happens when you do cross the border, you could be banned for life. But, why do you go the legal route?
yeah, and then
It's also like
you come
70 or
back and
80% of the cases are thrown out as they show up for asylum because they're just economic migrants, who got coached into saying the right answers and still fucked up somewhere in the middle.
which that kind of happens a lot.
Yeah,
So,
they're getting shipped all around the country without any COVID testing, and it was found out like 60 or 70% of them had COVID in that one encampment underneath the highway. It's a sad thing because I bet you a lot of them don't have COVID before they start their journey, but then they're in cramped close quarters all the way up. Then they're in cramped close quarters while they're waiting to get processed to get their temp visas, so that they can go to a court date at some point in the future, whenever that fuck that happens. But they're supposed to be notified and stay in the residence that they're given, which never happens. Like 10% of people will actually show up for court.
yeah, they are asked to show up at a particular date
Well,
and
so
time.
what happens is they're told you're being relocated to this location at some future date, and they're not given a date, but at some future point in time, you will be given a date to go to court in this location. 10% of people show up for that court date when they're given it, if they can even be given the court date. 10% of people show up. That 10%, like, that might be the percent that actually, like, either A, believes in the system, or B, thinks they have a chance of scamming it, or C, actually need it. That showed up for real reasons. And I bet you that the last category there is in the significant minority, which is sad.
Oh, doubtless.
Because I'd be happy for our country to help people if we were helping people that needed help, not just people who want to be here.
Or that certain groups needed
I'd also
for
be happy if, like,
their
let's say, our veterans before them.
absolutely that would be good.
I I have the opinion that if until we get to the point where our service members number that many, I think that you should be like, if you're talking about this, the universal basic income, all that kind of pie in the sky shit. Do military service. I think that is something that, like, if you ever go in the field, if you're ever in the shit, that's when you should be given basic income for the rest of your life. I think that is a valid trade-off. It doesn't have to be a fucking amazing income. It could be like you get poverty line pay on top of whatever you get. Period.
Well,
Something
you
that
get
simple.
if you pick up any kind of disability, you basically do. But and most people kind of do, sadly.
Eh.
But yeah, I understand where you're coming from with that. Even if the
But
systems.
instead, right now we're pulling in hundreds of thousands of people a fucking week at this point, or a month. We'll be realistic, a month. Like it's a couple 100,000 a month. We're pulling in millions a year.
Yeah.
Way more than we've ever seen at this point.
And we weren't. We actually had it all pretty well locked down.
We had it down to a couple hundred a month. Can you believe that? We had it down to less than 500 a month for a little while.
Yeah, it was
like
halcyon
there was
days.
obviously more that were coming across that we weren't catching, but like whatever the hell that number is, we had it like for the stuff that we were able to catch and record, less than 500 a month. That's nothing.
Yeah,
the wall was
that's
working.
manageable.
Yeah, you can at least start narrowing
manageable.
in on the parts of the wall that are getting breached, where you have people still able to tunnel underneath it, etc. You had possibilities there. Now we're up to a couple 100,000 a month, millions a year. It's insane.
Oh, absolutely. Just completely bonkers.
Steve is here.
Ah, wonderful.
I am. I was wondering how long it would take for everybody to notice. Just
I noticed
sitting there,
immediately. Just
fly
I
on the wall.
felt like getting the thought completed.
Oh. Well, that's
enough.
good.
Glad you could
Very
make
useful.
Yeah, I also noticed that you were polite enough to mute yourself, though, which was very cool.
Oh, no. I would have interrupted you if I didn't find it more amusing to see how much attention you pay. Like, I literally don't.
Oh, for you,
don't
about
think
5
it's
cents.
politeness.
You get a nickel.
It's not politeness. I was entertaining myself. There is a fundamental difference.
Yeah, one involves your hand and a little bit of lotion.
I think that's more your territory, my man.
Well, anyway, on that note, I just posted something in the staff chat about something that was happening. So we'll get back onto Afghanistan and something that was happening with the CIA and the Afghan warlords. And since we were talking about kids and trafficking and all that, well, the CIA, the aging warlords, some men as they get older, they have some difficulties. And, those CIA officers, they were, getting them some Viagra. Because when you've got, your bocce boys that, you need to keep locked up to do your thing with, and it doesn't work so well, when your rape party it just isn't going, you got to get it going. So the CIA was kind of making that happen.
Just to help out the those who are blissfully ignorant, it's actually one of the major psychological horrors that people our soldiers had to deal with over there was not immediately shooting pedophiles, because they are rampant over there.
Well, not even to say pedophiles,
they have boy sex slaves.
Yeah, to say
little boys are sex slaves over there. They are sold into sex slavery over there, and our soldiers were not allowed to shoot these motherfuckers, fucking little boys in front of them.
Well, that is you're saying it a little bit politely. It would be better to say that they were raping them, but
right in front of their faces, they were not allowed to shoot these people in the act in front of them.
Well, as Joe Biden says, that's just part of their culture.
Crimes of our century, right there, is that we didn't just walk in there and shoot every motherfucking pedophile in the head, right in the head.
Listen. Diversity is our strength.
That's the funny thing. You see all these alt-rightoids out there right now. Say, "Oh, Taliban base, blah blah blah." Just for the fun reasons. For instance, having that dumb, well, see, I'll say dumb, but like actually pretty ballsy woman who started off without the hijab, and the next day there it is. Like just the way they talk about throwing gay people off the roof, etc. Like they're not realizing is that these idiots in basements would probably be the boys who would be fucked over there, raped in front of the soldiers.
Maybe, but they aren't over there, so it is a different paradigm.
Wearing pit viper shades and saying stupid shit on the internet.
Yeah, possibly. Hopefully they'll stop talking and start acting. Anyway, I'll make sure
I think
we
we should send them over there. I think that would be fantastic for the for another surge. I think a lot of these dipshits should be sent right over there and see how they fare.
Well, if they want to, offer up
they should put their money where their mouth is.
Well, sure enough, most of them want to stay out of that sort of thing, so I don't think you're going to have a lot of recruits. But
probably not.
If they're interested, sure, go for it. Most of the quote-unquote America First crowd.
The ones that we do send over, we'll just have to remind them before you and Hero put the camera on.
Well, I mean, they'll probably. Well, who knows? Who knows? All conjecture.
Yeah.
So let me close this. What the hell are you doing?
Well, so I got a leak in my sink, and unfortunately, I have to fix certain things immediately. So, it's just the way it's got to be. Okay. So I can listen in and I can participate, but
well, fair enough.
I can't let my floors and cabinetry rot out.
Look, Evan, diversity is our strength. All right.
That's exactly right. Oh, motherfucker. It's leaking from up top.
Well, that sucks.
Oh, that's terrible. Yeah.
I've actually had to deal with this, and it really, really does suck.
I hate this. It's
the gasket like directly at the bottom of the sink with the where it attaches in, or are you talking like at the top? Seam?
Yeah. It looks like it's there too. I thought it was a plug because nothing's draining properly. But then I pulled that all out, and it doesn't appear to be that. And unfortunately, it does appear that it is the drain.
But it's not the sink seal.
No, it's the sink seal.
So when I say the seal, like the sink seal, I mean the gasket or the silicone that goes around the top edge. Okay.
I'm well aware of what you are referencing. And I just had to do this the other day in the kitchen. I actually I prefer kitchen sinks because it's all stainless steel. It's super quick to do them. But the bathroom sink is. I've tried to replace this thing half a dozen times and it keeps on failing on me.
So one of the things that I think I think it's a crap design, but it also makes it a hell of a lot easier to fix. Those sinks that are just basically a bowl rested on the counter. They
I've
have
seen
those
out
the bottom.
Oh,
they're a little bit too architectural digest for me,
Yeah, they look like shit to me, but I also see them as being fairly easy to fix. You remove the sink seal at the top already. Well, it just has a drain seal at the bottom.
I really do feel for you. I've actually got to completely replace the furniture on my bathroom sink at some time in the near future.
Well, it's really inconvenient, and it's always inconvenient. It's never
yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the way of home repair. I mean,
yes and no, right? Yes and no. So when I get to do things myself completely and totally, there's less problems because that shit is perfect.
Because it gets engineered the best way, over-engineered.
That's exactly right. There's no such thing as over-engineering. There is just proper risk management, which in some cases is none. I am absolutely positive that when push comes to shove and centuries after I have died, and somebody comes in and decides that it's time to demolish my house for whatever crazy future thing that they need to do, that when they swing the wrecking ball and it hits my bathroom, the wrecking ball will break. I think that's the appropriate way to do things.
Yeah, that is.
I can't really disagree with that sentiment.
I also think that if they fire a laser, it should go right back at them. 10 times as powerful.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds pretty good to me,
unfortunately, not every single person agrees with that mentality.
No, they
And
think
so,
that you should be able to have a slight breeze blow it over.
Well, those
and
people shouldn't be building
unfortunately,
homes.
they shouldn't be, but they are. And then so like the bathroom sink that I have, right? So for those who are listening in and to the wonderful world of home repair and gooey nastiness, what is that? How did my girlfriend or how did my wife get hair in the
Oh, that was a
fucking
Freudian
sink?
slip.
Yeah, I wish,
Which
right?
one was it again?
I don't know how my wife got hair in the sink. I really don't. This
Mm.
is like it's I get it in the shower drain. I understand that. That's pretty explanatory. But how in
Humans shed, man. Humans shed a lot.
they really do. This
Yeah,
is so
kind of.
gross.
I'm
And
guessing that you're
it's
not
got
quite as
like
hirsute an individual as I am, but I have to tell you, it's fucking horrifying sometimes.
Yeah,
You just
there's
like miss
I'm
your
not a
corner.
what?
As hirsute a person as I am.
just
What is her suit?
imagine he said hairsuit.
Yeah, I was gonna say the
Ah,
closest explanation there.
got it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
I
a
am.
fuzzy Jew, all right.
I am not. No. My wife actually
So
believes very firmly that I
if
have
you miss
an
a
allergic
corner,
reaction to
if you
hair.
miss the wrong corner for too long, then you finally do find it, and it's not a pretty sight. And you realize, even though your hair isn't feet long like your ideal woman's, you still end up with a bunch of it on the ground sometimes. That's the way it is. Humans are fucking filthy creatures.
Yeah, I think I might have to. I just did this. So I did the bathroom in like 2017 ish. The whole thing, like put in a new sink. So it's been 4 years, and like the gasket's failing on it, and it's just because
Wow,
it's
that's
only one reason,
garbage.
right? It is, but it's because of
Yeah.
one thing and one thing only, right? Going back to the whole like some people shouldn't be allowed near homes. They put in their pipe, and so anybody who's done any actual like home design, home repair, what you want is you want right angles. Everything
Yeah.
should be at a right angle because with a right angle you can make it go up, you can make it go down, you can make it go sideways. Like you can do whatever you want with a right angle. This
They used
comes in
45s.
somewhere around 27 and a half. It's not quite
What
straight out from the
possessed
wall.
them to do that?
That's
I don't
an
know.
incredibly
I don't
odd
know,
angle.
but every single other piece of plumbing that you buy is designed. I don't even know if it's 27 and a half. Honestly, I really don't. But every single other piece of plumbing that you ever buy is designed to be like 45, 90, just to like make stuff fit. And this is literally like
This is a split a hair of
17-ish,
that.
27 degrees coming through the wall. So that piece, if you put in a single, U collection tube, that piece will sit there, and in order to fit it with the vertical sink pipe, because the sink pipes are always vertical, you end up having to put in this flex tube. But the flex tube doesn't create a really great seal with anything because you have to move the flex tube all the way around to finally get it to match up properly. And when it does, like, it just does a terrible job. So
Have you
then, if
considered just hitting
anything
it with
bumps into
heat?
I mean,
Yeah,
it's a
that'll
ceramic
that'll
sink with a
deform
rubber
it the wrong
gasket.
way.
No. I mean
No,
the flex, not the flex pipe. Just get a regular one and just bend it.
No,
Yeah,
no.
but
I mean, this bathroom will be renovated once I finish the upstairs bathroom, which I'm getting pretty close to.
Oh well, fair enough
Like
then.
this
Yeah.
weekend,
Yeah, I guess fuck it
yeah,
in that
this
case.
weekend I should be moving the tub out of the back, putting that up there. Then I have to sit there and map out all of my drain pipes, which I'm gonna have to figure out how to like fuse and polish plastic. That's gonna be a lot of fun.
just melding or
Yeah, there are
what
plastic
kind of
welders
plastics?
that
Yeah,
that you're
plastics
probably
engineer
going to be.
here.
Yeah, you'll actually probably have a place locally you can rent one.
So what kind
Probably.
of plastics are we talking about here?
Well, so I've got. I think I got a fiberglass. I think that's what most. It's either I can't remember whether it's fiberglass or acrylic for the tub.
All right.
But I bought a two-sided tub, and to maximize the square footage of the bathroom, because it's a small bathroom, right? It's not like a rational sized. It's like 1899 the house was built, so it wasn't built with plumbing in mind.
Right.
So they fit a bathroom upstairs, and it's like what is it, 36 inches plus 30 inches, so 76 or 66 inches on one side, and then it's 60 inches long plus 24, so 84 inches on the other side. And it's just not quite like your standard sizes. So I've got to go like measure everything up, and the wife, to save space, doesn't want to put in a 2x4 wall. So I will have to weld a plastic skirt onto the left-hand side of the tub and then grind it down and make it look pretty.
From what I understand, that is doable.
Oh, yeah. Hell, you can
Never
do it with
tried
ramen
it,
noodle.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that's more of a lasting repair, but I mean, you can do about anything with just about anything if you put your mind to it, I suppose.
That's exactly right.
And you're an
Yeah,
engineer, so
Twitter has
that's your
taught me
job,
anything.
right?
That's exactly
Pretty much.
right.
Make the bridge stand.
But again,
Use chewing gum.
as stated from the previous discussion, when I build something, it is done perfectly, and that makes it a little bit harder.
Well, that's fair.
Makes it a lot harder, actually.
Well, you make the big bucks, right?
But yeah, that is why I make the big bucks. That's why people pay me a lot of money to tell them why they're wrong.
Oh, somebody has to do it, right?
That's exactly right. Because when they don't listen, the government tells them they're wrong.
Well,
And
or, you
it's a
end
lot
up
more
with,
fun
like,
when I tell you you're wrong.
a Chernobyl-type
Doing
incident as well, which,
Oh,
generally you want to
God,
avoid.
those are so hard. No, they just have fake accidents. That's all. Little fake accidents.
Oh, speaking of
wasn't real.
fakery, did you hear that your new governor actually unveiled that the additional 12,000 people that were killed under her
I saw
her
that.
vote?
I honestly, I saw it, and it doesn't surprise me in the least.
But
So that's
like,
that's what now?
15
That's 27,000.
Yeah, which, by the way, if you go take a look at the overall death toll from COVID, is about, 6 months ago, it was about 30,000, which means almost all of those people were people that were numbers
gassed
from
by
directly
Cuomo.
targeted.
yeah, and I'll
Right.
put a link to that
So
as
it
well
was,
for anybody that wants to
it was,
follow
it
up.
was,
That hasn't caught a lot
it
of
was like
airplay.
32 or 36,000, which means 10,000 people that weren't nursing home related deaths.
Well, let's
For the state of New York.
let's even give them the margin on that. Let's just say that it was additive to both totals. That's still horrific.
Yep.
Well,
That's
that total
fucking
in and of
awful.
itself is more than the people. So, in addition to killing like 3 times the people that died on 9/11, we can add that he killed about 5 times the people on 9/11. Isn't that super?
That's
Yeah,
exactly
we're gonna
right.
go by Aaron Ruper's metrics there, aren't we? We can go with Aaron Rupar's how many 9/11s today? That fucking cunt.
Indeed. How many 9/11s has Andrew Cuomo done? That's a good question. How many 9/11s
don't
did Nancy Pelosi do when she said go down to Chinatown and ask a Chinaman to spit in your throat?
Yeah,
don't
I
think-
told someone about the go to Chinatown shit. I told this person that the fucking health commissioner in New York said this shit too. Couldn't believe it.
Oh,
they
all
couldn't
did.
believe
They
it
were
that
all-
someone was this
they were
stupid to
all
say
doing,
this.
the same thing. They were all doing
We
the
couldn't
same
believe
thing.
that someone was that ass someone who should definitely know better was that asinine and did that.
Well, they were
Yeah.
absolutely convinced that Trump was evil. Oh, this has to get thrown out.
Never
They were
mind.
absolutely convinced that Trump was evil and everything that he said was wrong, and so, logic and reason don't apply. Now, granted, I do think that everybody should have gone down to Chinatown because why not? Right?
Well,
Enjoy your
Less
Chinese.
humans for you to deal with.
I mean, that's one aspect to it. Another aspect is I don't think it's particularly scary for those who have the ability to go down to Chinatown in the first place, given the survival rates. So, like, realistically, not a problem. What is a problem is when you reverse your position from go down to Chinatown to, oh my God, Trump's going to murder us all, and your grandma is at risk. That is a problem.
Oh, well, you see, there's
right?
this fantastic account on Twitter that everybody should go and look at called Defiant L's. And they have been cataloging the reversals on the vaccine by lefties. And it has been some choice memery going on.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Choice stuff.
In that comment, it is, and I want to be very clear here. I mentioned that it had dropped to 40% efficacy. Just want to make sure everybody can still hear me because I'm now on my 4G instead of my wireless. It's taking up trash.
Yeah, you're pretty much okay.
Okay. It was dipping in and out there on my end.
Yeah,
I just want to double check.
You're a little wavery, but
my
you're fine.
numbers, right? Okay. So last week, the numbers that I saw from the CDC data coming out from their slide presentation, the data that came out of Israel, and the data that was coming out of Scotland was 40% vaccine efficacy. And today, I'm seeing numbers saying that it's 64% efficacy. Now, I'm not sure which of those two numbers is correct. I believe this is like, that's a huge swing. Plus or minus 20% is a huge swing in a data set for the Pfizer. Now, I know the approvals, it is. It really is. So I'm not sure which data, like I saw it from 3 sources previously, and I've just heard like the news has basically said that Pfizer is admitting to 64%. So I'm not sure, like, this goes back to the discussion that we had last week, is over what period of time are we sampling these people, right? Given that vaccines are like constantly being
we
added.
Are truly at a dearth of data.
So, like I said, it was probably like the efficacy that we were citing at the end there was probably out of recent events. And regardless of the ambiguity on whether or not you can determine which disease is going to be impacting it, and I think that if you're talking about these kind of variants, at a certain point, you just got to say it's a different fucking pandemic.
No, I mean, I think that what I'm talking about is quite literally the numbers have changed from what was reported 2 weeks ago to what's being reported today, and I haven't seen any basis for this change whatsoever, other than Pfizer wants to get paid lots of money. Like, literally, the CDC data says 40% in their report a few months ago. The Israel data says 40%. The Scottish data says 40%.
Here's something you should
and I'm hearing
consider.
64% with no basis, no source, no nothing.
Yeah.
Where the fuck is it coming from?
Here's something you should consider to cut off the... and you know, I say this with all due compassion and respect on those who are troubled by these events. With good reason. Just to cut off the paranoid delusions here. If, say, a Vioxx event happens out of this, the people who made the money are going to prison with no golden parachute. Period. Like, this is one of those things, like you know, if shit goes missing from your room, when the couch goes, you know something's fucked up, and you go and find the guy and kill them or arrest them.
I don't know. I don't know if it will, right?
Yeah,
so if we find out, that this is all bullshit, I think the Democrats are so committed.
Look at how much they're protecting Fauci still, and how much shit has come out on him.
There are enough people in this country that are armed and ready to be pissed off like that.
Okay, well that's different. That's different, and
not like are pissed off like that, but like are not like, you know, say people who would show up on January 6th and throw a little pity party at the Capitol building. I mean, people who are ready.
We're not talking about mostly peaceful protesters here.
We're talking about Jeffersonian rewatering of a tree here. There are enough people who are that fed up with the shit that's been going on in their blue states. If they had one of those events go down, like, look at what's going on with Afghanistan, where they can't sugarcoat it, so they have to kind of turn on their own in the news.
Update on that, by the way. The news reporters have all been kicked out. They have been airlifted, and it was basically insisted that they leave. So you can take that to mean that what's about to happen is something that they do not want you to see.
Yeah, all the Americans are going to get killed. Isn't that going to be fun?
Yeah,
fucking ridiculous. It's gonna be. It's Jimmy Carter all over again with that. It's gonna be, except instead of 1 year hostage crisis, it's gonna be fucking 3.
I understand what you're saying, that there's people who are pissed off about it, but we've already had one governor who covered up the deaths of 30,000 people that he killed with his executive order.
Hey, let's be fair.
We're in a position where the Democrats are running cover for anything that supports their agenda, regardless of how much damage it does. And the media is backing
anyone or anything.
They have no way right now of adequately censoring their dipshittery to the point where it's not obvious.
Sure.
And Exhibit A is all the shit that I just blasted into the chat here. But
when it comes to data stuff.
Oh, and I'll have a link, by the way, to a Twitter thread on this that links to, I believe it's... what's the... Oh, it's Build. Okay, so it's actually reporting out of Build on this. I'll link for you guys as well.
Okay.
So, and again, going back to where my original position was when we first debated the fucking vaccines, and I had to listen to the horrible droning of Kregel's as he read a friggin' Pfizer report. At the end of the day, my position was they don't have the data to make the claims that they're doing. That's the position that I've consistently held. But at the same time, I think that how they would walk out of this is, well, we measured it at this one time and it looked like it was really effective and we didn't realize that it fucked everything up. If we trigger something like an autoimmune disease because this shit is not effective and the virus just basically kicks you into a cytokine storm as last line of defense your body has, we won't know that for a year or two, and they'll just say that this was the best data at the time, and that'll be what they use to cover their ass. I don't think we'll get the Vioxx situation. I don't think that'll happen.
Well, in addition to that, too. Jeez. Oh, shit, I lost my place. Lost it. Never mind. I have to find that article again. Too many tabs. Ignore me.
I mean, I've got 877 open. What's wrong with you?
Speaking of which, I actually had my motherboard come in, so I'm supposed to be working on that too.
Oh?
Oh, hell yeah, man. Congratulations.
Get on it. Yeah. Get on it, motherfucker.
Yeah,
what's wrong with you? Why aren't you on a computer right now?
Well, because it came in yesterday, and I sadly
had... You had a whole fucking day? You've had 2 days.
You know what, Preggle?
I'll give you that.
Some of us are big boys with big boy responsibilities.
I mean, I'm hearing that you didn't go home last night and immediately strip down your old computer and fix it.
That is largely correct. No, well, so one of the things is I was actually looking and doing some research into, I'm as stated to the viewers previously when we first started talking about inflation and hedges against inflation and societal collapse and all of these other things. I am looking to start investing in properties. And generating secondary income, backup stuff to I don't think the government's ever going to really come for property. They're going to have to, we'll be in full, zombie apocalypse mode when property rates go out the window. So that's just because the elites have that, right? The elites have that.
Everybody's not going to own anything. You won't own anything and you'll be happy about it, including all the property you invest in.
That's not true, right? So
yeah, you basically just have to make it through to the other side of this. If you can own property after this, you can start to work your way into that ownership class.
I think that there will,
but also,
I think property rates are pretty safe.
Let me just pop in here and just say to anyone who's going to be listening to us on this that hasn't been utterly lost by our rants, to ignore deals from BlackRock. Keep properties out of their hands if you are able. Turn down the money. It's worth it, because that money that you don't get will be money that goes back into your community instead of being stolen away by oligarchs. Anyway, sorry.
Well,
Please
and that's,
continue.
so in any case, the property went on the market down the road. It looks like they'd already done the hard work, which is ripping all the old shit out.
Yeah.
The structure looked okay, and I was thinking, but they hadn't put any new finishing on it, right? So it was basically walls and bones and stuff like that. And I was like, oh well, I'll go look at this. So I've been looking at that for the last 2 days and trying to find a rehab loan, which is a lot harder than it might seem to find somebody who's willing to invest in that. If I go for FHA 203K, apparently I can't do the work, even though I am a god amongst men, because I am not a licensed contractor. I'm the guy who provides
fucking
the
New
designs
York.
to tell the licensed contractors how they're supposed to do their fucking job, and I can't do my own work. I would literally have to hire somebody to do my own work.
Well, can you get your
New
company
York
licensed?
State. Bravo.
No. Can you get your company licensed?
Yeah.
If I get to a point where I've got more than one property, so right now we've decided to change tracks to try to find a multifamily, and this is partially to prepare for mine and my wife's parents' retirement, so that they have a place to go, because some of them are not the thriftiest of savers, or the most cautious. Plus, we're just
they expected to have successful children.
Well, it's not as much that, one of them is, one of the individuals in question burns every dollar that they have. The other individual is married to somebody who burns every dollar they have. So
that's
it's
horrible.
yeah. So at the end of the day, like, we have to be responsible. So it's I want to have I figure that rental
you want to
income
retire
is
eventually too, then.
Well, that's what I'm figuring. Like, when I retire, rental income would be the best form of retirement, right? A property is an asset that you hold that appreciates in value over time, and you get a dividend out of it every year, based on your rental income. And that's kind of what I'm looking at in terms of future investing, right? Because I think the stock market's too volatile.
I would make sure that you wait until all the death to all landowners thing blows over before you start offering it up for rent.
I am.
Oh yeah, before you get
not in any way worried about my region.
Do close before that shit ends, though. If you can.
I am in no way concerned about my region. My region is as red as they come, right? Like, the Black Lives Matter protest stopped at the river. It's like vampires in water. They just don't come over here because we got stakes.
No, that's good. Make sure that
hold a barbecue, you selfish cunt.
Just make sure your governor doesn't take away your steaks, as it were.
Well, the governor has a really hard time when the sheriff's departments don't comply in our region.
The problem is now you got this progressive, complete psychopath.
Yeah.
Who's tripling down on the bad policies and introducing new bad policies.
I have yet to see any paper written. So, and this is the comment that I've made. So I sit as the line between the libertarians and the conservatives in my department. Like, I am objective fact and reasoning based. All of my opinions are always informed by the data that I can read. I've got the libertarians who are sitting there and saying, everybody should be able to do what they want, but it's a giant, scheme. The conservatives are coming out saying the government's out to get you. And here I am going, well, there's no real data for this, that, or the next thing. And I stand there on that crux, on that dividing line. And the one thing that I keep telling the conservatives, who are absolutely concerned about everything, is I keep telling them, as much as there is legitimate reason for concern, I haven't seen any paper.
Well,
and
I'll say
if
this,
they aren't
I don't
writing
have to live
paper,
there.
There's a reason for it.
Now, that being said, just Monday, New York City, mind, so not the state, but NYC,
Not the city,
has put through mandatory vaccination policy for all school staff with no opt-outs.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely
no frequent testing options. And when I say no opt-outs, I mean none. There are no religious opt-outs.
Well, that's gonna.
There are no medical opt-outs.
That one's definitely going to court.
Indeed, it is.
At the end of the day, De Blasio acts like a drunken motherfucker all the
Oh
time.
no,
De
this has come
Blasio goes
down.
out.
This is a
De
lot of this has
Blasio
come down from Kathy
consistently.
Hochul. She is asking
I mean,
for a
it doesn't
statewide
matter.
mask mandate in schools and these vaccine requirements
Again,
to be expanded.
again, though, there is no paper, right? So I have seen Biden call for mandatory vaccinations. He's had weeks.
Well, you know
and
what?
An
There's
entire
actually
team of legal advisors to write him something to sign the day this was sat there, the day this got FDA authorization, and there still hasn't been paper for that, right? Like, he came out and he said that he's fully within his legal authority, and he has yet to sign a document saying that. He's calling
He
on,
knows.
and that's
He
what
knows
I'm
exactly what'll happen if he does that. He's gonna get 50 states to tell him to fuck off.
That's the point, right?
Okay,
Not
49.
just that,
California is an exception.
He runs afoul of the Constitution. And Holcher there, or whatever the fuck her name is, I see the same thing. She keeps on calling for this shit, but she's not signing anything into law. She's actually not as forward-moving as Cuomo. Now, that's not to say that she's not calling for it, and it's not to say that it's not a risk, and it's not to say that it won't happen. But I'm guessing that that she doesn't have the legal authority to do that, and she's being told explicitly that she doesn't have the legal authority to do that, right? So as much as this is a soft power tactic, where they turn around and they walk up to you and say, "Hey, I've got a really big stick, and I'm going to beat your ass with it," and you say, "Yeah, show me the fucking stick."
You want to know what's
and
really
that's exactly what's going on right now.
What's really funny about this is I was going to get up a Kristi Noem quote, the South Dakota governor. She said something like just today or yesterday. It was really apropos, and it cuts down the middle and speaks to everybody. So I go on Google and I'm like, Kristi Noem. It's something she just said, and of course the top story: South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem joins fellow Republicans in quest to kill her constituents. Are you motherfucking kidding me?
Is it a Salon article? That sounds like a fucking Salon article.
Vanity Fair.
Close enough.
All right, so I'm going to hop over to...
Vanity Fair is Salon without defending pedophiles.
Fair.
They just promote them.
Oh, man. Those poor pedophiles.
Yeah, the verp heads, right? The virtuous pedophiles.
Well,
that's exactly right.
Oh, Jesus. Well, anyway, what she basically
My favorite
said
part about that was every single one of them that they cited ends up being an offender. Just, what are the odds, right?
Yeah, isn't that funny? Well, anyway, basically what she said was, aren't you glad that I can't force everybody in my state to do exactly what I say and be open and require no masks and require no vaccines? And she makes an excellent point there. You know, she says, if I can't do this, Joe Biden can't do this, and that's the way that it should be. And it's absolutely right. It should fall down to every business and every school, and even possibly more granularly from there to, you know, every individual. But at the very least, to at least the places of business as they stand.
Now, for schools, I think that if you're talking about public schools, it falls down to the public school system.
Sure,
period.
But the local system,
I disagree.
But as far as
you are
the private
paying
schools,
taxes, if you are paying taxes and you disagree with something the school is doing, and you don't have the legal authority to claim your money back from the school system and put it to something else, bullshit. You do not have the legal authority. You don't have the legal authority to do something against the will of the parent.
You know where you do have that authority? You know where you have that legal authority? Florida, not New York.
That's true.
What?
You had the legal authority in Florida as of relatively recently, fine.
Oh, one of the school choice things?
To take your tax, no, not only to pick schools, to take your tax dollars, your public school tax dollars, and walk with them.
Oh, nice. Nice. Ah.
Right.
Oh, man, that's how you do it. It's like, oh, my school's teaching dumb bullshit. Okay, well, I'm going to put my kid in the school that doesn't.
If you don't like CRT there, if you don't like having a mask mandate for whatever reason, just any legitimate reason where you just decide to up and take your kid to another school, your tax dollars follow you.
as soon as that is on the table, I think it's okay for the school district to do whatever they want to do because
Here's the thing: you
they are
have the power
not
of a vote.
commanding your tax dollars.
You have the power of your vote, and that is the reason they will give you. And that is actually, I think, a legitimate reason. The thing is, though, that in a case like this, it is simply not responsive enough for you to be able to get what you want done in a reasonable manner, in a reasonable time frame. But still, I think that is still the rational answer that you'll get, and it's got merit to it. That you have the power to vote in these people, to vote them out, and if you vote and you don't like the outcome, then tough titties.
Although recalls do need to exist and should
disagree.
exist, especially for the cases in which people
at the end of the day
betray their constituents, for one, or when something absolutely terrible happens, and perhaps some things get blown out of proportion, and American citizens get held and tortured, and have human rights violations done against them. Theoretically, obviously, I'm not referring to any January events or anything like that.
No, I think at the end of the day, when we start talking about something like schools and all this other stuff, I understand what people are saying, the right to vote, but if somebody comes in and just suddenly does something that completely upends society, you don't have the chance to react to it with a vote. I'm not saying that this is one of the reasons why I am very much opposed to large government stuff, because at the end of the day, if I can't respond to something I firmly and vehemently disagree with, then I can't. The system is breaking down. And in this case, when it comes to mask mandates, they don't have a compelling reason to do this, right? There really isn't evidence suggesting that this will accomplish anything or this will achieve any goals.
Well, if we go strictly by the hard science and give them every benefit of the doubt, assuming they're going to give every single person ASTM level 3 masks and training. Okay, then.
Nope.
But that's not what's going to happen. That's the farthest
RCTs,
fucking thing from it ever.
14 RCTs found that there's no significant effect. That's the conclusion of 14 RCTs. At the end of the day, it's not even, we can turn around and make the argument about theoretical use cases, but theoretical use case arguments aren't scientific, right? So the 14 RCTs found there was no effect, then 14 RCTs found there's no effect, and that's it. End of discussion. Masks don't work.
You talk about retrospective.
No, there's no retrospective. We have done the studies. They don't work.
Studies where, in which context, etc. is what you have to go into.
No.
Right?
14 RCTs associated with mask effectiveness consistently found that there was no significant effect. We're done. Like this isn't one thing that maybe we might try. We've done 14 RCTs. All of them show the same result, which is no significant effect. Doesn't matter whether it's schools, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter the use case. There is no scientific basis at this point to continue on and sit there and claim that masks do anything. And if the government doesn't have a compelling evidence-based reason, sure, I'll get them to you in just a moment.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that as well. I'd like to put it in the links for anybody below, because I know that there's people that listen to us that will be very happy to have some information like that handy.
Yep, yeah, there are 14...
I will be me and be annoying, but at the same time, I know you're good for backup.
14 RCTs is 14 RCTs.
Oh, yeah, no. I mean, I legitimately would be happy to put this in the links for people, because as it stands, I generally don't really bother much myself anymore. I just try and be respectful of people.
Hold on here. I've got 10 of them here on one link page.
No, no rush.
There was an article
just as you're able.
Decided all 14.
Oh,
so here's a good.
If it's, are you done with the plumbing?
For now, yeah, I gotta wait for it to dry before I can do any RTD.
I was gonna say if you're in the middle of, you're underneath the sink dealing with this shit, then.
Oh no!
Then you can wait
no,
for a day.
I've got.
Okay.
Let me see if I can Google it.
Oh, the Swiss
RCTs.
research policy. Okay.
Yeah, well, they're a pretty good source of actual data aggregation.
Yeah, I'll make sure and put all the links to this in here as well.
All right.
Like, we're done.
Let's see.
All right.
Here we go.
Swiss
I think
policy
this one
research
has-
updated just this month. Okay.
Let's see here.
Yeah, we see that. Now, that being said,
Here
masks
is
aren't really a negative, but what is an absolute negative, we see a huge uptick in cases almost every time these mass quarantines are attempted.
So the issue is that this is a problem that you have is we see a huge uptick, but we also have, like, part of the reason they're putting in the masks is because there's an uptick. So, like, this stuff comes in waves, and if they implement it in the early part of the wave, we're always going to see that. So you can't really draw that conclusion. That article, by the way, sits there and actually breaks down the CDC evidence versus the RCTs, and it's 14 RCTs, 11 found no effect, 3 found a moderate effect, but not necessarily particularly significant. So at the end of the day, we're done. The mask issue is a dead issue. We have analyzed it. We've done it with
I'm gonna come back to you with
RCTs.
some really annoying shit here.
I don't give a shit what you come back to me. We got 14 RCTs that studied masks and found nothing. Boom. Done. Dead issue. It is not. There is no compelling evidence at this point that the government can come in and say, we have a compelling interest in requiring you to wear masks. They can say it all they want. They can claim all the things that they want, but we now have 14 RCTs. We didn't have that before. We just had all this observational bullshit, which is cherry picked all hell.
So you're talking about just study number 1, for example. One study did report a major effect, but in this trial, hand hygiene in schools and running water is an effect here, is an impact.
No, you can't. If we turn around and we study
I'm just throwing
hand
that
hygiene,
at you right now.
No. If we study hand hygiene
Respiratory
and the effect
etiquette.
of masks, and we turn around, we study hand hygiene and the effects of masks, and I remember
Let's
this.
see, face masks. In our systematic review, in a systematic review, we identified 10 RCTs that reported estimates of the effectiveness of face masks in reducing laboratory-confirmed influenza virus infections in the community from literature published results during 1946 to July 27, 2018. They're pulling results across, 70 years?
Sure. Does it fucking matter? It's an RCT.
It matters a hell of a lot.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't at all. At the end of the day, mask ordinances don't do anything. We see it consistently in the randomly controlled trials that we do. I don't care. You want to turn around and talk about the hand hygiene one? Let's talk about that one. They broke it down into masks only, masks and hand hygiene only. Hand hygiene only sits there and produces a rather profound effect. Masks only produces no significant effect. Masks and hand hygiene produces a greater effect than masks and than hand hygiene alone. That's what they found. However, the sample size associated with the masks and hand hygiene effect was not statistically significant compared to that, or minorly statistically significant, and is likely an artifact of small sample sizes. That's the masks and hand hygiene one. It's still found that the masks only group had zero effect. And there is no reason to believe that if masks alone have zero effect, that masks and something else does have an effect, that it's really the masks that did it.
What I'm seeing here is error bars that are too large to make definitive conclusions, more than I'm seeing anything that says anything definitive one way or the other.
Although the case you make is compelling and worth looking further into, absolutely.
So
like at a bare minimum.
Look, I'm not open to being convinced here, right? Like, present me evidence and I'll go through it and I'll look at it critically. But I'm also willing to be convinced.
At the end of the day, I've presented the evidence. We got RCTs, they found no significant effect. You want to sit there and say that something might be hiding in the error bars? That's fine. Let's talk about the means.
Well, when you're talking about things from when they say they're going all the way back to 1940, whatever the fuck.
There's Pick whatever error you want in whatever study you want, and that's fine. We
Look,
have 14 of them. They all found the same thing.
This is an extreme example.
Consistent. The results are consistent across multiple studies that are RCTs. You can sit there and try to play, let's find the fucking study that doesn't comply with whatever thing you want.
No. I'm not looking for a study that doesn't comply. I'm looking for a study that gives me the results that are that are properly arrived at.
All of them are RCTs. All of them sit there and show no effect. There is not an RCT out there that shows a significant effect from masks.
Now, I'll give you this one. I guarantee you that is true of the masks in 1918, but the masks in 1918 were made out of cheesecloth. There's a big difference over time.
Don't fucking care. We're talking mask mandates. Don't fucking care. You want to sit there and talk about proper PPE, you need to find the RCT that shows that masks have a significant effect. That's what you have to find. That is how we sit there and do science. We do not do science with, well, this didn't sit there and find an effect, therefore I believe an effect really is out there. Science is not a question of absence of evidence is evidence of absence or whatever. Sorry, that's not how it works. You can't assume that there is a positive unless you can. Yeah, I know. You can't assume a positive effect if you have no studies that are of caliber to prove a positive effect, and we don't have that. What we do have is we have 14 RCTs all consistently showing no effect.
We also have
me 14
every
RCTs.
single hospital in the country operating over the past several tens of decades.
I don't give a fuck. At the end of the day, if you want to overcome 14 RCTs all coming to the exact same conclusion on masks, you need at least 14 other RCTs that sit there and come to the opposite conclusion that it has a significant effect.
I would need at least one. I would need at least one. You know, it's not a fucking democracy, and you know that. No, I don't care how many you have. I care whether or not the evidence is of merit.
No, sorry.
And if one comes out that shows that there's a reason why they're flawed, or why there's a different reason why something might be true, then I would only need one paper. Yes.
You need one paper to nullify a positive claim. You don't need one paper to prove
I need one paper to demonstrate a positive claim.
We do not make positive claims in science. We don't do that. We refute everything else. That is the practice of deductive reasoning, and that is what science follows. The problem that you run into when you go to try to prove something in a positive manner is that introduces the problem of induction.
How the hell did you... No, that's the exact opposite. You assume that a positive claim is false. You cannot prove a negative. Period. End of story.
That's right. No. We assume that the positive claim is false.
Negative.
That's exactly what I said.
Right.
That's exactly what I said.
You don't prove positives.
Yes, you don't prove positives. You reject them. Right? So we reject the null. We haven't rejected the null. So if you're turning around and you're making a positive claim, it's easily debunked with Not at all. We use deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is sitting there and eliminating possibilities. Right? That's what we do. You do not come out and sit there and say masks work because I found one study. Because if I find one single study that says masks don't work, then we automatically revert to the null. Because the null always is supreme. The positive claim is never supreme. And right now, we have 14 studies, 14 RCTs, the highest quality type study that we can do on this, that says, nope, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. It's done. There is no argument. You need to come up with at least 14 other studies that show a significant positive effect and explain why the other 14 studies have a negligible effect, because every time you sit there and talk about scientists, they're going to argue over their methodologies, but that's what you have to do. That's the burden of proof.
Again, you're talking about masks having an effect in a generic, general sense, right?
No, I'm talking about masks having any effect in a randomly controlled trial where we evaluate whether masks have an effect. That's what we're talking about.
The context of the trial matters too here, and if they're talking about in the community, in the lower income settings, etc.
No,
Like,
no. It is
yeah,
an RCT. It is an RCT, right? Randomly controlled trial. It doesn't matter if it is done in a poorer community. Because if it's done in a poorer community, the control group and the test group have equal probabilities of being whatever, right? This isn't the same kind of thing like these observational bullshit that we got on hydroxychloroquine. This isn't the same bullshit that we got on the people who are sitting there and shooting down ivermectin. This is quite literally randomly controlled trials where we have a control group and we have a test group. And we sit there and we compare these 10. And the subjects are applied into these two groups as at random. Yes, there can be sampling biases. That's always true. But when we get 14 of these motherfuckers and they all show the same thing, then it's pretty clear that it's the same fucking thing. The effect is no effect.
Are you okay? So are you counting those first 10 under Section A here as individual RCTs?
No. The first link that I provided some of the studies. The second link I provided actually cited all the other 14.
Okay.
And goes through a breakdown of them.
I was gonna say because A under Section A study 1 is a meta. Okay.
The Swiss Policy Research Group is not not fully RCTs. The Danish study was, I think, 2 of them when I looked were RCTs, and the others were observational evidence. And then the City Journal one sat there and actually pulled the 14 studies that were truly RCTs, all of them. It included the same 2, but still, 14 RCTs. We're done. Dead discussion. Masks don't work. Everybody goes home. The government has no right to dictate what you do. Let's stop wasting other people's time and money.
The last one didn't require a study, Dave. The last one does not require a study.
Which one? What are you talking about?
The government does not have the right to dictate what you do.
Oh yeah, that's true. The government is always wrong when it tells you what to do.
Oh yeah, that's just a given. Or it should be, at least. Fuck's sake.
All right, I'm gonna toss this Corsair. Because I fucking hate it.
Okay, total of 30 participants. Okay. Assigned to the recommendation to wear masks. 2994 assigned to control. 4862 completed. Okay, fine. Infection occurred in 42 participants. Recommended. Remember, recommended. Recommended to wear masks. 53 in the control.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Not recommended to wear masks.
We are talking about an in situ experiment. An in situ experiment is what the actual experiment will look like in the real world. So if you're assigned to wear masks, that's what a mask mandate is.
You're immediately backing up here, buddy. It's not like this shit was not done in a laboratory right now. Right, this one, randomized control stuff, randomized control trial.
I'm not backing up at all. I'm saying this is an in situ study.
Oh, it was done deal. It was all, we only do this shit in science and laboratories and shit, and now they're talking about recommending people, not telling people.
No. I said
recommending to them.
Hold on. I didn't say laboratories. I said randomly controlled trials.
The recommendation to wear a surgical mask. No description of what the fuck the mask was. Just, hey, wear a mask.
It doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter if the mask is effective or not.
No.
If you're told to wear fucking a cheesecloth over your face, it doesn't matter if you actually follow it. You're not going to get any effect out of it.
So hold on. Let's go back to the original position. Do you have a randomly controlled trial that actually shows that masks have any effect with whatever desired settings you want? Because the answer I have is no. I haven't seen one that's a randomly controlled trial that shows that masks have any significant effect.
I don't keep this kind of shit on file. I just go look them up and read it.
I have 14 studies that say that they don't work. 14. I don't have a single one that says they do.
This says a recommendation to wear masks. No details on what mask it is.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
3,000 people were recommended. Recommended.
No. Do you? Dude, do you have a study?
This
says
all this says is that people. All this says is that about the same amount of people got sick in both groups after they were either said, "Hey, you should wear a mask."
That's correct.
Or, "Hey, have a nice day."
So hold on here. Do you have
That's
a
it.
study
That's
that
it. That's
is
all.
randomly No. Do you have a randomly controlled trial which shows a positive effect? Do you
No,
have a
you're
randomly
asking.
controlled? Because
This is your look. If you want me to go look up if you want me to go look something up for you later, fine.
I want you to find me.
Fine.
You're the big mask.
I'm looking at what you
I
presented
have
to me.
presented.
I'm not.
Hold
I'm
on.
not. Gonna, I'm not going to go out
You
looking
turned
for other
around
things
and
right now.
you challenged the RCT.
I'm looking at the merits of the study in front of me, and that's it right now.
And your complaint is that you are going to argue that masks, the secret sauce of the masks, lies in the hidden mystery world that everything is done perfectly, right? That's your argument.
No, I'm not making any argument like that. Right now, I'm saying that what they did was they said, remember, this isn't on you or anything. This is on them. They did the study. What I'm saying is that they told 3,000 people, wear a mask.
Right.
And that's it. They stopped right there. And then for another 3,000 people, they said, have a nice day.
Hold on. Do you have a study where they told 3,000 people to go put on whatever?
No. We don't need to talk about. We don't talk about other studies. We're talking about this one. They said to 3,000 people, wear a mask. They said to 3,000 people, have a nice day.
Buddy, friend, bro, pal, right? We have already covered.
We keep trying to get away from this, and we're talking about this study.
Not at all. No, I'm not trying to get away from anything.
You're going to tell me, hey, do you have in a second here, and I don't need to.
Mr. Interruptus, pause for a moment. We have already covered that the null hypothesis reigns supreme. You and I both agreed to that. You do not have a positive claim study that you can present. This sits there and shows the null hypothesis.
I don't need one.
There is nothing wrong with that because, again, this is what a mask mandate looks like. You can sit there and whine and
your claim,
you can believe
your a priori claim.
God of
Your a priori claim was that masks are not effective, A. B.
No, my a priori claim was that we have 14 randomly controlled trials that show masks are not effective.
In what context? That's important. It's very important that you describe the context that's involved. The general statement is not true.
I get that you're a believer of the masks of the gap. Right? I get that you believe that there is this magic secret sauce to masks, but there is no RCT that backs that claim. There are 14 RCTs that back the opposite claim.
Okay, I have a question for you. If I were to go into a hospital right now, if I was to walk around someone who had Ebola, supposing that was present here, should I wear a mask? No, I'm asking you, Mr. 14 RCTs, should I wear a mask? Should I wear a mask?
Is it going to be a randomly controlled trial? Is it going to be a randomly controlled trial?
No, here's the trial. It's me, one individual.
First off,
it's me, Steve. It's me, one individual walking into a room with someone who has a highly infectious disease. Should I wear a mask?
If you're walking into a room with an individual with Ebola, you should not wear a mask. You should wear a respirator.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
There is 14 RCTs that show masks don't work. The one that you've pulled out that you're going, oh my God, this isn't. Stop. No. At the end of the day, the one that you pulled out.
I pulled the second one on the list because it was the second one on the list.
It doesn't matter.
Because the first one was a meta-analysis. He said RCTs. I pulled the second one there.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, a mask mandate looks like that.
No, it doesn't. Work. It looks like a mask recommendation.
No, and you don't have an RCT that backs your claim.
No, you said mask mandate. This is not a mask mandate. This is a mask request.
It's a mask mandate.
It's a request.
They had a trial group that ran masks. They had a
trial group that showed up and got recommended to wear masks.
Okay. And
that's it. I'm not saying it needs to be anything further. That's what it says on the paper.
Absolutely. Do you have an RCT that sits there and comes back and says something otherwise?
Stop. You're doing the same thing again. You're saying, do you have blood? No, we're looking at this one. Annals of Internal Medicine, right here.
I am. Because at the end of the day, you're complaining about
At the end of the day, you're talking about another paper. You're talking about needing another piece of paper, and you said you got
No,
14,
I'm not.
and I said fine.
You
I
told
said,
me,
okay, we'll
you
look at the
told
first
me, you
one
told
that's
me
on the list.
you need to look at one study to sit there and prove or disprove the claim. You have not presented an RCT. I've got 14 RCTs that say it disagrees, right?
You
That
got
there
one.
is no effect.
All right, the one. All
You
right,
can,
like I said,
you're
I
coming
only
in
need to
and
see one. I only need to see one to prove the point. 14's overkill. Fine, fair enough.
you're right. Okay.
Okay,
So now you're playing the
fair
masks
enough.
of the gap game, right?
No,
You're
no. I said
gonna,
you need one study to convince me, and 14 is overkill. One
right.
quality
And
study,
so
and you said
like
mask
any other good
non-effective.
creationist,
I am telling you right now
like
that
any
it
other
is
good
not masks
creationist
that
who
they were
sits there,
testing. It is not
every
masks that they were testing. It is mask recommendations that they were testing. There is a big
so
difference between them. And no, I'm
and I
not going to
will.
come back to you right now with a mask study because that's not relevant to this paper. Period. It is not relevant to it.
That is what a mask mandate looks like, and that is the efficacy that we
It's
got from
not a
those masks.
mandate. It's a request. I'm not saying that
Okay.
it may not have been presented as a mandate. I'm saying that they say in the paper that they recommended masks, and then that's it.
Kind of like the government recommending masks. Kind of like the CDC recommending masks.
No, and I'm
Kind
willing
of
to
like
give you that.
New York State sitting there and recommending to wear a mask inside.
Yeah, and
inside
kind of like
buildings.
idiots
I mean,
like AOC wearing
what it is.
cloth on their face and fashion accessories. I get it, and
Oh,
I agree
absolutely.
with that. That is pointless. What I'm saying here is that you have 3,000 people in an RCT that were told
What I'm
to
saying.
wear a mask, and you
What
had
I'm
3,000 people
saying
that were
is
said they told have a nice day,
what I'm
and
saying
they
is that
found
there
that
are
similar amounts of people got infected.
14 studies with a control group in randomized trials that show consistently that masks have no significant effect. If
Yeah,
you want to
see,
be
the thing is,
belligerent
you're
about
touting this as if it's
No,
this paper is. They looked at serological results for people who came in and said, "I think I'm sick."
okay,
It's fine, right?
And?
Like they did PCR,
right,
you know,
and
and they found that they got about the same amount in both trial groups. Fair,
correct, right?
fair. I mean, you're agreeing with
And
all
so
these
what
details. Can you not agree also with the
Absolutely.
detail that they said to 3,000 people, please wear a mask? And they said to 3,000 people,
I
have a
said
nice
that
day.
that's perfectly fine. I have no
Okay.
problem with that.
We're on the same
Right?
page now.
I've actually been, Evan, have I not been very clear that it doesn't matter? That that's what a mask mandate looks like? That that's the real world? Isn't
not
that
a mandate,
my
though.
premise?
It's not a mandate. It's not a mandate.
I'm pretty sure that's. I'm pretty sure
All right, no,
that
let's go back to some of the. Let's go back to one of the most horrific studies that was ever done, right?
Which one?
Was it the
There's a
Millikan
lot.
experiment, right? Not the Millikan. What the fuck was his
wow.
name? The guy who had people torture other people theoretically. The compliance experiments.
Yeah, Stanford experiments.
This is not a mandate. This is not a mandate.
It's not Stanford.
Is it not? I know what you're talking about, though. People were theoretically.
The voltage on the prisoner,
actually.
turn it up to 11, right? Turn the dial up to 11 on the prisoner. He did bad things. Do it, do it, do it. You can hear the screams. Do it anyway. This is not a mandate. This is not a mandate. Period. It's a request.
Okay. So again,
here's the comparison. Here's the comparison for you. If this is a mandate, no, Steve. If this is a mandate, then Trump mailing out those little dumbass postcards was a mandate. Was that also a mandate?
What dumbass postcards?
The little postcards that said, "Please, 2 weeks to halt, to flatten the curve or whatever." You don't remember those little postcards getting mailed out in mass last year?
I'm sorry. No, you have. This is slightly different. These are volunteers recruited for a study. They're assigned to random groups, a control and a test group.
And
one
group
is provided
said,
the recommendation, right, to go wear a mask.
The recommendation only. Recommendation.
And
the other group. You're making it out to be a mandate, and I'm telling you, it's not. They said they're probably provided all kinds of. They're probably given all kinds of propaganda, and they're probably told, "Have a nice day" at the end.
Hold on. Do you have is there something listed in terms of the levels of compliance between the two groups?
I'm not seeing that right now at the top, but I mean, I can go down through more of this.
I mean, at the end of the day, what I see is an in situ study that sits there and proves that mask mandates don't work, right? You want to argue that's not an RCT trial of masks?
Though.
That's fine. My counter to it's not a...
This is a fantastic argument against not doing recommendations.
Oh my God.
Seriously. That's what this is saying right here, is that recommending masks did not make any difference.
So go see if there's a compliance level.
Okay, just fuck this long ass freaking article. Control F, compliance. Okay, let's have me spell compliance correctly. Blah blah blah. Authors, response to whoever the hell. Interesting comments. Let's see. All right. We assessed compliance through our email survey 4 times during the study. We reported compliance was in the analysis. Our take is that compliance was very high, and most likely higher than what is seen during everyday use of face masks. That's not a number to me.
Okay. So I can't, maybe this study doesn't do it.
In absence, a question here, a question provided in absence of an objective mechanism to track the intervention, what are we counting? Okay, the effort by Dr. Bungard and colleagues is commendable. However, the trial design and the associated results remind me of the randomized controlled trials assessing the efficacy of a prayer intervention. The fundamental issue with mask intervention and social distancing, like prayer, is the lack of objective mechanisms to ensure and track compliance or non-compliance, lack of an accurate method to track who is praying or not praying. This guy's being a dick. As an example, the authors state that only 46% of participants who wore masks as recommended. Only 46% of participants wore the mask as recommended in the mask group, but failed to ask participants in the no mask group about their usage of the mask. Furthermore, so that's a flaw, a major one, but the results stand. Furthermore, a mask is considered an added layer of protection with social blah blah blah.
No, that's
therefore
bullshit.
The mask's added effect to be challenging to deduce. This is this is in this one study. This is in this one study, and this is not in all 14. We've only looked at one. Again, keep in mind, I went to the first thing in the list. It was a meta-analysis. You said that no, the next one's RCT, so I went to the next one. And I'm not saying that this is your first or best. I'm not saying this was your best example to throw at me. This is just the first one that showed up, right?
I'm sorry. I still consider that as evidence of the efficacy associated with recommending face masks. You want to turn around and say...
That is a fine statement. That's a fine statement.
Right.
Okay. I'm okay with that.
So face mask...
Recommending masks doesn't work. Fine. According to this,
I would
just as a policy decision, I would say that's a bad idea.
You'd have to prove that there's a significant difference between a quote-unquote mandate and a recommendation. Because I can tell you, as an individual who is technically required to wear a face mask all day, that where everybody on site is required to wear a face mask all day, that is a mandate, and nobody complies.
So here's what I would say. So that's a compliance issue more than it is a mask issue. Again, and before we get into this, I am being an asshole with the semantics.
You are. You are being an asshole with semantics.
But point of clarity here, like what I'm saying is that what this tells me is that as a policy decision,
use the right terms.
As a policy decision, the absence of a recommendation is likely no worse than the recommendation, and the recommendation itself can't hurt. The mandate probably is going to be a little bit different from this, but we can quibble over details by how far. I'd say there's a chance that it is the same result. Fine.
I would agree that I will give you that there is
Now
a
we
chance
have countries
that
that
if
have
it's a
done
mandate,
mandates, and if you want to, and unfortunately, we don't really have a randomized control study between countries
no,
here
we
because they're all
don't.
different. But there are countries that have done mandates, that had outcomes, right? We can
Yeah,
go back and
and
assess
we've
those
also
later, and those are going to come out in
and,
retrospective
and
analyses.
and by the way, when we turn around and we take a look at the countries that have mandates and the countries that don't, there is no particular difference between the two of them.
Well, I mean,
Those analyses
do
were
we
already
have
done.
rates of compliance? Do we have rates of infection for compliant individuals and
So
non-compliant individuals?
you can't come in with a data set that you want to make as your case argument and then start saying, well, even though you've challenged the actual efficacy of the outcome here, we can't sit there and use this data set that I just suggested.
No,
You
so
gotta pick
again,
a lane, Craig. You gotta pick a lane. I don't care what that lane is, but pick
as an example, the authors state that only 46% of participants wore the mask as recommended in the mask group, but failed to ask participants in the no mask group about their usage of the mask. That's, and I'm just saying, like, from the policy perspective, it looks like this doesn't make a big difference. Let alone measurable, okay? It doesn't look like there was an observed difference here, but from the experiment perspective, that's bad.
I will give you that is certainly a variable that is not controlled for, and
I'll give you one more critique of this. Of the 46% that were compliant, what was their rate of positivity versus the rate of the remaining 54%?
What do you mean?
Well, the people who actually wore the damn mask, did they get sick?
I mean, we saw that
not just recommended, but actually did do it.
So first off, I don't. There was a study that came out that was pro-mask that it was not statistically. It was like barely statistically significant based on their pre-test or whatever it was. They ran the exact same thing, and then they compared the compliant group with the non-compliant group, and that's an inherent bias in and of itself because the people who happen to be germaphobes are likely to engage in a series of different behaviors.
This is something I said before about like the people who are. This is something I said before about people who are like vaccinated and were probably already inherently less likely to get sick, especially in the earlier phase of vaccination, largely because there are probably people who are more worried about it, and probably later on more worried about the possibility of still getting infected.
And that's a reasonable.
It's a confounding variable, is all.
Well, absolutely is.
If we take into account that vaccines, let me just pause you both for a second here and take into account the Israel numbers and what we're seeing out of there, and that actually kind of plays into that. You've got a group of people that now think they're safe, and so aren't taking any. It was
weird that it wasn't higher. It was weird that it wasn't more people with vaccines that were infected, but it's probably because that the people who did get vaccinated split into those kind of camps. Yeah, people who thought they could go out and do everything normal, and people who were still freaked out. These groups are going to exist. The proportions are up for debate, but we know that those are going to be camps that develop, and people who there are absolutely people that go out there who are vaccinated thinking, I can go out there and business is back to where it was before, and they go out and transmit the disease and get sick.
Let me be very clear. When they repealed the requirement for masks in the state, as somebody who's not vaccinated, I went out to as many stores as I could and stood as close as I could to a whole bunch of very uncomfortable people because I'm a dick. And
I am utterly unsurprised by that.
You are
and it was very fun to make all of these assholes that made me wear a mask for a year very uncomfortable.
Please tell me, did you do this in the city? Did you do this in the city, though?
No, I'm nowhere near the city, dude. And the city smells like tea.
I was just thinking, they're the people who probably brought the mandate upon the state in the first place.
I'm sure they did. I was really a big fan of blowing the bridges and pulling out some Snake Plissken and having a good old time. However, that was not a generally popular opinion either. Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
I did that. And it was a few days before people stopped wearing masks. And then all of a sudden, within 2 weeks, compliance with the mask mandate, right? So New York had like a 40% or a 60% vaccination rate back in like March or April. and there was probably 80 to 90% of people not wearing masks. And prior to the reauthorization of the CDC stuff, prior to that, it had probably dropped down to roughly about 10% of people were still wearing masks. But let me tell you, those motherfuckers, I saw a dude who had a fucking half-face elastomeric respirator covered by a cloth face mask and a shield, and he put every single one of his kids in the same thing. So when we sit there and we start talking, about the people who are afraid,
it
is a was in that position. The kids, leave them alone. All right, so it's 10. We're both going to turn to pumpkins here. So I just to bring it back to a positive-ish note for people who are listening and got through us both being annoying. At the end...
Well, you were annoying. I'm just right. There's a difference.
Yeah, that's okay. So at the end, we got to a point where you heard the things that we have left up for later discussion, at least potentially later discussion, and you heard the stuff that we agreed upon, and where we were kind of coming... We both started off at different places, and we're narrowing in towards where we can agree on things that matter here. More, we got the factual basis.
We're
several parts
agreeing
of
on
factual
the
basis down.
We
got several parts of our
fact
basis down.
Of a study.
A study. We've got several parts of the fact basis down, and we can narrow in and start to couch these the details do matter a lot, and I appreciate the need for a digestible conclusion at the end that doesn't have all these caveats layered on top of it.
And just for our audience to hear, the digestible conclusion is that 14 RCTs have all concluded that face masks have no significant effect.
And more importantly, this is Steve's assessment of these 14 RCTs.
There might be reasons why these things are not very good studies. That's absolutely true. But we also have to be careful, because I happen to deal with motherfucking scientists all day long. Scientists are never happy. Nothing is ever perfect.
You're
correct. Sometimes,
there's a bottom line moment you got to get to. Yes. And here's something I'll give you. Here's the bone I'm going to hand across the olive branch.
Between me and Craig is that Craig comes at this from an academic perspective, in which case he's very, very critical and every detail matters, and I come at this from an engineering perspective, which is, fuck that, it says X, we're done.
Look, I have the engineering background too. The engineering background is my primary.
There's a difference between engineering and academia.
Both of those.
Those of us who have to actually
you gotta have both perspectives. You gotta have both perspectives when you want to narrow in on what the actual recommendation should be. At the end of the day, you've got to have the pushback to pull against that confidence. We've talked about the different regimes of engineering, and when you're doing compliance work, you're the big dick in the room. But when you're doing the science part of it, you're always going to be the idiot. You can't be the smartest guy in the room with this kind of stuff.
Surprised. Being the big dick actually wins you pretty well with a scientist, because you just turn around and be like, so you're telling me that you're completely useless? And they're like, no, I'm not completely useless. And I go, well, you're telling me that you can't draw a conclusion. You had 72 hours to collect data on your special $170,000 instrument that we paid for you to do it, and you're telling me that you can't draw a conclusion? And they go, oh yeah, no, we could draw a conclusion. That's exactly what you said it was. Yeah, that's what I thought it was. See, big dick. It works every time.
So the point here being, at the we're narrowing in on the basis for the digestible conclusion, and again, I'll be specific on this one and say this is Steve's assessment that the 14 RCTs imply, or at least support, the ineffectiveness of masks, or to be more specific, a mask mandate to the public.
No, I think we're going to go with masks.
Fine.
I think that's where we're going to go with.
Okay. No, and again,
because
Steve's opinion
I want to be
here,
very clear here.
That's fine.
I want to be very clear. There aren't an equivalent number of studies that are RCTs that demonstrate masks work. Instead, and this is one of the good things that's in the City Journal article, the CDC, to draw its conclusion that masks do something, was based on observational evidence, which sounds like a really great way to do things, but it's basically where they cherry-pick a scenario, draw a conclusion. Yeah. And
it's better than anecdotal, but it's more like anecdotal when it comes to an RCT.
At the end of the day, Craig and I can both confidently sit here and say anecdotal evidence is bullshit, and anything
Yes.
that is really close to anecdotal evidence is always bullshit. And people are full of shit. Every time, if they have to give you an anecdote or tell you about this one, every time somebody
One
comes and
time my
tells you about
granddad
this
told
one
me about
time,
how great anecdotes were, and that's the reason why I believe anecdotes are great today.
well,
That's-
or it's just like the dude who argues against seatbelts because he knew that a friend of a sister of a brother of some dude she was screwing on the side.
I've been
was
driving for
ejected.
70 years, and I've never gone through a dash, all right? I mean, I've had my
Exactly.
close calls, but my head's always bounced off it. I've never gone through.
That's exactly right. Those kinds of things
Ridiculous.
is anecdotal evidence.
Well,
And
see, that's a good
observational
argument
studies
for a
aren't much
helmet,
different.
not so much for a seatbelt.
Right. or for better screening for dementia.
Perhaps.
Especially if the person's not even 70 yet.
But
True.
I would observational studies are not much different from that. They basically turn around and they go in and they find what they think is a decent. Actually, I think it's probably close in line to a case study. Although case studies are like
it's close enough to a case study to be. So there's
pretty close.
observational. That's like there's retrospective observational, and then there's in situ observational. And retrospective is going to give you the better details, but it's still not going to be as good as an RCT any day. But
Yep.
sometimes it's all you get.
RCTs are king.
Yeah.
See, I understand where you're coming from on that, but I will say that every single person, if you want to be an expert scientist like Steve, always default to the null. If you do not have an RCT in front of you that sits there and says something to the alternative, always default to the null, and you'll be right 90% of the time. Actually, 95% of the time.
This is like saying that if you're a cynic, then oh great, now I'm getting pings.
That was bound to happen sooner or later.
Yeah. So anyway,
Right.
I will look further at several. So does this document have everything, or are you gonna put some more
I think
links?
the
later?
City Journal one has everyone that
sorry, I
I
didn't
looked
see
through.
that link. I'll get that one too.
That one's so
thank you.
so. I linked the Swiss Policy Research Group.
I'll put
It is
that
very
in
much
links for
maligned
anybody that
on
wants to follow up
Wikipedia.
on that as well.
So Steve, before I hop out here, just because I'm playing on time here, in the Swiss policy whatever, should I only look at the ones that are RCTs in there on the source link, and then everything else just kind of skip past?
You're free to look at
Okay.
at any of them.
But should I target those first?
Sure, go ahead. Whatever you want to do. I haven't read. I mean, when you get to 14 studies, I haven't read them all. Right, I don't have time to do all.
That's fair. That's completely fair.
That being said,
yeah,
the
I'm
primary reason
interested.
why I dove into the Swiss Policy Research Group is because if you go to Wikipedia, they're very maligned because at one point they said,
well, it's fucking
what was it?
Wikipedia.
Yeah, I know. And they don't really have a basis to it, but the Swiss Policy Research Group actually provides a lot of the studies associated with these topics on COVID. They tend to be, I don't want to say they're contrarian, but they tend to be very broad. They also provide an assessment associated with it, which is not, from what I've found, to be a particularly partisan point of view.
As long as none of them cite climate change as a basis, like I'm okay, because then at least I know that they've got their heads on their shoulders.
Well, fair enough there. It's a
Yeah,
start.
no, none of them are.
We're talking about the same area of the planet that Greta Thunberg comes from, so I've got to be a little cautious here.
Yeah, no, it's nothing. They are probably they're probably closer to a conservative think tank, but they pretty much the one thing. 9 times out of 10, you find like these think tank groups that link you stuff, and you tend to get a ratio of like 20% opinion editorials, actually like probably 40 to 60% opinion editorials, and like
what I like is the ones that hide that their opinion.
Science.
Yeah. The ones that hide that their opinion, when they try to come in and they say this is a meta-analysis, but it's all going to be me talking. It's like, fuck you people.
Yes. From what I've seen, the Swiss Policy Research Group, for those who happen to be on the contrarian side, is probably going to be your best resource for actual studies. This split there is probably about 20% of news-based pieces and 80% actual studies pulled from actual journals. And then, I'm sure there's probably some
reading
trash
reading
studies
material between other stuff I can look at.
Yeah. And the 20% of stuff is like Forbes, right? So it's not
Okay.
like the
It's
environmental
not like
research.
fucking WAPO.
Right. Right. It's not sitting there and citing Salon or
Fucking hell.
what
Seriously,
what
who the hell
or
cites Salon and means to?
but it
Unless
tends
they're
to be
pointing out the
like
fact that they defended pedos. Like, who the hell
they
means to cite Salon?
I've seen them cite Bloomberg, I've seen them cite
Okay.
Forbes, and I think there was one other one, but it was like they might have linked a Daily Mail article. But and that's over many pages. It is a very good aggregation of evidence to discuss these things. So if you are looking for a kind of a jumping off point to actually read some of these studies that we do talk about, or that some of the conclusions, that's a good place. You should go beyond the site, but a lot of times, as you go research various topics, you end up with the same studies that you read. So probably the most comprehensive site that I've seen that actually just sticks mostly to the studies.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, and great to be back on here. I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, man. You have a nice evening. Good
Have
to talk
a
to
All right.
all
Later, folks.
right. Enjoy your ball though.
you.
Got in without a rebuttal.
Oh, you have to, don't you?
Of course.
I suppose so. Well, I guess I can't let you turn into a pumpkin either, because I know you said you wanted to get out of here around midnight, so I can let you go. But before you do, there was something
I've got like 10 minutes left.
Well,
I
let me
need
just
10
get a
minutes.
quick reaction to something. I think it's going to be the same as my own, but you know that Newsom out in California is probably going to get recalled, right?
Oh, we'll find out. I mean, we thought Trump was going to win.
That's fair. That's fair. You know, there was the convict that was found with, thousands of mail-in ballots, methamphetamine, and a gun, and being a felon and all that. So, yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. But that being said, old Joe, his handlers, they've put the skin suit on him, and they're going to have him go out to California to campaign for him. So that's pretty bad. When they've got to get the skin suit out there to try and tell people to vote for you, you're in a real bad way. And I mean, honestly, I don't know if that's going to help.
So they did this with Obama a couple times when they realized they were losing governorships in states. I can't remember which races, but it was in his towards the first term. They didn't think much of it, right? And after he won the presidential re-election, they didn't think much of it. But then a whole bunch of states started electing Republican governors, and so they started trotting him out for the same thing. That was Obama. Obama is charismatic. He is a decent speaker when he's got a teleprompter. Biden is none of those things. It could end up being worse trotting him out, right?
Oh, yeah.
But at the end of the day, what is it? Larry Elder has, 20% lead on him? Something like that?
Oh, 20% overall. Which is
20.
Which, that's kind of a huge amount. Because there's a lot. I think the Republicans alone have something over 10 candidates. I believe the Democrats have something like double. And then you've got all your, wacky candidates too.
So the Democrats didn't have anybody initially. So if they've added candidates, they're in an emergency, like, try to salvage this whole entire thing. But yeah, Larry Elder is leading. I don't think so the problem that you're going to have is Biden is currently on a negative news cycle with the Afghanistan stuff. I don't think the masks and vaccine mandates are playing out really well. That's one of the reasons Newsom's being recalled, and he's kind of the champion of that. So I think that could actually make things worse, right? Because here you're going to have a president stepping in, somebody who's down I think he just hit 30% with moderates in terms of overall support. Indeed. He's cratering, and he's cratering hard. And yes, the left loves him because the left, it's the left, it's partisanship, yada, yada, yada. That being said, I don't think they love him that much. And I suspect it's more along the lines of, as long as our guy's in charge, everything's okay, but we don't necessarily like him as an individual.
Well, if
I
we're to
don't
take
know.
Kamala at her word, then, I mean, she said he was, of that racist class, so,
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, right, if Larry Elder has 20% lead, is at 20% total in this giant clusterfuck of candidates, that's pretty significant.
Oh, yeah, that's
right?
enormous. That's absolutely huge.
That is enormous. And so there is, given that the Republicans have chosen to run someone who is a black man, who's not even like the diluted version of black man, right? And that sounds terribly racist, I know, and I don't give a shit. But that was, the people who were arguing that Obama was black.
He is most significantly more black than Barack.
He is like straight up black. They're going to run a pure black man against Gavin Newsom, who's as white as they get, and they can't use the race card, right? They're going to try.
Oh, they already have. They've said the black face of white supremacy already, at least once.
Yeah, I saw that article. But the problem that you have with this is, the problem that you have is their traditional lines of attack have always been like racism against whoever they're running, and that's because predominantly the like we saw with Hillary, like she didn't get the women's vote, right? Women don't vote as a bloc, so they return to race against Trump, right? But it's not going to work when your opponent is a black individual, right? They'll try that, but that'll force cognitive dissonance. So I suspect.
Well, not that it forces cognitive dissonance.
Sending Biden out will actually make it worse.
It forces high levels of cognitive dissonance because they pretty much operate at a given level of cognitive dissonance, like just on the daily. But that will kind of ratchet it up to about 11.
It goes back with that whole like Biden quote: "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." Like these are the levels of problems that I think they're going to run into with Biden going. And given all of the other negatives surrounding him right now, he's not going there with accolades and great success. He's going there under, Gavin Newsom is drowning. Biden's presidency is upside down. Massive failure. They're sending an unpopular guy to go try to bail out another unpopular guy. And it may end up making things worse for them. That's kind of what I think.
Yeah, that's a real possibility, and I mean that's kind of what I'm thinking is going to happen because there's not really a way that he's a good look,
Nope. He is. Yeah, that's not going to do well. And if Larry Elder plays his cards right, he'll end up doing very well. And one of the other things to keep in mind is, as much as we look at California as this giant liberal shittery of a state, they actually have a pretty significant conservative representation. They are, it's like double-digit points liberals ahead of them. But at the same time, like there is a significant portion of California that is very, very red, and those folks are going to be 100% motivated, right? Because at the end of the day, the government of the state of California has largely been elected by like the San Francisco Bay Area, and it's not representative of the rest of the state. So we'll see.
Yeah, indeed we will. And the fact that they've got to trot him out, that's a bad sign. And trotting him out is a bad look.
Is a very bad sign.
It's I don't see a good way for it to go well. But for anybody that's made it this fucking far, thanks. Like we got off to a real mask efficacy rant there for like almost an hour.
Yeah, well, it's.
Although it is a conversation worth having, right? Especially now because the mandates are trying to be rolled back out, and it's worth being able to combat that with reasonable science and good information.
The first thing that we started with was low levels of vaccine efficacy and what are the actual numbers, and basically talking about how, it sounded to me, I can't speak for Craig, sounds to me like both of us are seeing conflicting numbers and we're not sure where the fuck this shit is coming from, right? And then it moved into, should we be allowed to do vaccine where should the mask mandates land, which is a reasonable discussion because they are going to the court system with the Florida schools. And Craig comes in saying they shouldn't have mandates, which I fully respect him for. And my response is the same. And this is actually more like, in the event that they try to pull some random shit here in my state, I plan on attempting to file a lawsuit. And part of it is going to be on the fact that emergency powers for vaccine and mask mandates can't be used. One is emergency powers can't be an in perpetuity thing, right?
Sure.
You can't turn around and just have pandemic forever power, which is what they've been doing. And the second tenet is that I believe emergency powers, I have to go look this up, but I believe emergency powers can only be used if the government has a compelling reason to do that. And so when we start talking about mask mandates should be dead on their face because the research doesn't support masks as this overwhelmingly good thing. There is no compelling reason that the government can mandate something without going through the legal process. Now, that's not to say that New York State can't turn around and have all the legislatures sign it into law. It's just to say that, you can't bypass the legislature if you don't have a compelling reason to bypass the legislature.
Oh, sure.
An immediate, necessary, compelling reason to bypass the legislature. So that is why we ended up there. That is an argument that I think people should hear.
Well, it's it kind of falls to the same thing of what would you say, like climate change. It's a discussion that needs to be had.
It is. There are a variety of reasons this is wrong, and it's not just because you don't like it.
But I suppose that's pretty much all I got. I'll put links in here, and if Craig gets me some links to any other mask-related studies, I'll be sure and put those as well. But just to close up...
He's got to find 15 RCTs. He's got to beat kind of RCTs that show it's a very significant... It's got to be like a real significant effect, too, not like this like piddly shit. Like, we found a statistically significant result. There's a 0.01% increase. It's got to be 50+% or more of a reduction consistently. Because that's your standard for PPE. Minimum standard for PPE.
Well, yeah, no, that's fair. So, I guess we'll see, right?
We shall see.
Either way, though, for anybody that's made it this far, thanks for tuning in and making it through a worthwhile and interesting conversation, actually, on the efficacy of masks. And unfortunately, so much of that kind of will fall on, well, none of those people are going to be listening. What the fuck am I going to say? It won't fall on deaf ears. Everybody that listens to this actually pays attention if you made it this far. Shit. So, thanks, and help spread the word. Either way,
Wouldn't it be nice? It would be really nice to reach out to the other side. I think Bill Maher may be coming close. I think
Bill Maher's kind of that. He's kind of that midwit, or no, that's not really a right way to say it. He's in a bit of a bubble. He's smart enough to figure things out, but he's really sheltered. So it's the adventures of that guy who just started noticing things. That's him. He's kind of just picking things up.
I think that's fair. At the end of the day, he as soon as Bill Maher starts to turn on the Democratic Party platform, maybe they should take a reevaluation, because he tends to toe the party line. Now, again, I understand where he comes from. He tends to have some very good insights. I've seen him speak a few times, and he's got some really good, smart, witty things to say. Nothing to criticize there. I enjoy and appreciate rigorous debate with an intellectual. That being said, for the most part, he tends to just, you know, argue either ethics and morality instead of economics and reality, um, or he just toes the line. So, but if he's breaking, that means the hold is fading.
Yeah, things are getting complicated and very weird. So
Yes,
keep
sir.
your powder dry, as it were, out there, and make sure you own a 3D printer because it might be very helpful in the near future. I know you do. I've got mine working, by the way. It is functional. I have not done my test prints because the battery backup that it was on has died, and I need to order a new battery. But they're only $12, so that's actually pretty dope. I'm going to do that when I get a little bit more money to finish some other bills first.
Once I get through my new tower getting built, I'll be back to 3D printing. Well, actually, I probably won't start 3D printing again until October. By then, our humidity will have dropped, and I'll be moving inside a little bit more often than the outside stuff that I do all summer long.
Well, I look forward to seeing some interesting prints. Or, if it's the kind that you can't share online, also, you can just tell me about it. That'll always be fun. Well, anyway.
Yeah, we'll see.
So, I would say to, try and look you up online, but kind of no point. But maybe if you want to, Ratman720. And if you've got any questions to convey, do hit me up. I'm kind of perpetually online when I'm not working or working on art. And then I'm probably online anyway. Look me up at that fake guy Dan. Throw me any questions, comments, or show ideas. I'm happy to listen. Craig's gone, but you can look him up at CraigBob99 basically everywhere. I'm not on Facebook, and if you find one that is, do let me know. I'll let him know to take it down because fuck that place, and I don't want anybody thinking I'm there. So thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Be safe. Keep your powder dry, and keep your ears to the ground, and something else thoughtful and witty.
Buy land.
Yeah, do that.
Buy land.
Land and reloading components. Yeah.